thanks to the support as a channel member, Michael McCloskey. A Champions League semi-final and a bunch of wonder kids to introduce you to. What more could you want from a Football Manager video, quite frankly? Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Champions League semi-final against Ajax. I'll also be keeping you abreast of what's going on in the Bundesliga title race, which I guess with 3 games to go, 3 points behind Bayer Leverkusen, we kind of are a part of. Although with 18 wins in a row for Bayern Munich, I suspect they're still the favourites to win that. But we're less worried about the Bundesliga and the focus is all on the Champions League, because I doubt we're going to get an opportunity this good to win that in the near future. It seems to have opened up a little bit. Certainly a route to the final has opened up a little bit. I don't know how good Ajax are likely to be, but fingers crossed we can deal with them today. As you can see, we've won our last couple of Bundesliga games as well, just to keep ourselves in the mix in that. But I mentioned we have wonder kids to introduce you to. Obviously, they've not actually signed for us yet. But we, at the end of last episode, had about £80 million to spend. You can see we've spent almost all of it now, just to make sure that we still get our next season's transfer budget. Because as I explained previously, if I'd have left the 70 or 80 million on there, that would have just rolled over to be next season's budget. Now we've spent it, we will get at least 50 million next year. So it just makes sure that the money doesn't drift away out of the system. We may as well spend what we've got. So because we had a little bit of sparesies that we didn't really need to spend, I figured we'd just roll the dice on some young players after we'd made Bruno Herrera permanent, because I mentioned in the last episode that he's actually much better than I thought he was. We didn't really use him when he was here on, or when I first arrived, because he was here on loan. I assumed we wouldn't really be keeping him, but he ended up quite good. Has been a key player in the last few games, and we had an optional future fee on him, so we've paid the optional future fee. When I went to click on it, the optional future fee was structured not like that. That's the contract we're giving him. It was structured 24.5 million up front and the rest on various installments as well. Didn't realise you could have structured future fees like that, but apparently you can. And then the rest of the new players are these ones. Udi Kayembe is a DR Congo international, 18 years old. I assume he's not homegrown in this nation. That's probably in Belgium. He is, we've really focused in on the ones with the A grade scout reports, but he's a right back, can also play left back or right wing. Any right back who can also play right wing is my kind of right back. We've obviously got some decent options in that position, but he's a 2.5 star, 4.5 star potential player, and we picked him up for only 5 million. So 18 years old for a player who'll become homegrown at club. That seemed like a bit of a no-brainer. We also got Vit Tici, who is a he's not a 10-year-old. He's an 18-year-old Czech international with 10 caps already at 18 years old. He's a centre-back who can also play DM or right back. He's already a 3-star current ability player with the potential to get much better, potential to be a starting centre-back for us. The fact he's already got 10 internationals under his belt at 18 years old and is playing regularly at a very high standard for Slavia Prague. They're the kind of players you want to pick up when they're cheap, and we got him for £10 million. And then we also got August Konen, who is a Belgian left winger. We didn't really need a Belgian left winger, but he looked too good not to pick up. He's 2.5 stars of current ability, 5-star potential, and he is currently playing for Genk. We've spent a little bit more on him because he's an attacking player. 22 million on him to go along with the 46 million pounds on Herrera. For a man who didn't need any wingers, that's a lot of winger. And then possibly most exciting of the lot, Daniel Highsky. You're going to have to let me know. High Sky, I guess. 19-year-old Czech international, 12 caps, 1 goal. I'm going to assume the goal return is because the majority of his caps have been off the bench because he's so young. But he's a striker who can play on either wing. He's 6 foot tall, reasonably quick, good finisher, and has been scoring loads of goals for Slavia Prague this season. 24 goal contributions from 24 matches, a 7.66 average rating. He's averaged 7.64 over his career at Slavia Prague and is only just turned 19 years old. So we picked up a couple of good youngsters from Slavia Prague, some wingers, Belgians, Works for me. That's pretty much all of the money gone now. So we won't be looking at transfers again until the summer when we get our new budget in. But I mean, these guys just slot straight into our squad planner. Although Tichy, maybe not so much. I have tried to get Dennis Simon again. Because I noticed, I don't think I've ever seen this in all my years. How do you spell this guy's name? Dennis Simon. Was I right the first time? In all my years playing FM, I don't think I've ever seen a player with 2 years left on their contract whose asking price is 0. But Al Hilal are considering him their emergency backup. They do pay him £650,000 a week. I don't know who their starting goalkeeper is. Let's have a look. So their starting goalkeeper, I guess, is this guy? I don't know why. I think they just want rid of him. Maybe they're running out of money. I mean, they've got some players, haven't they? Goodness me. Kimmich, De Jong, wowzers. But they clearly want rid of him, which is fine. We offered 0 and he wanted £1 million a week to come and sign for us as our first choice keeper. No ambition on this boy. We tried to offer 0 with them covering half of his salary. And they put the asking price up to 46 million when we did that. So don't think we're getting Dennis Simon, but I thought we could have picked up a bargain there. Alas, not. But let's go beat Ajax, shall we? Once again, we're at home in the first leg, as we have been throughout this knockout stage. And this is our team. It's Ribeiro in goal, a back four of Hartmann, Schlotterbeck, Moorman, and Borges. Moorman, by the way, incredible at set pieces. He's only 6'2", but he's got jumping reach of 18 and heading of 17. This man scores some goals. 8 goals in 16 starts for us, but there's a chance he'd with a full season, because he wasn't in the team when I arrived. If he played a full season, that man could end up top scorer. He's awesome, and obviously attracting interest from afar. But Hartmann, Schlotterbeck, Moorman and Borges, and Dukic and Maui in midfield. The attacking midfield is Moreira, Carrier and Herrera, and then Adeyemi up front. Let's get these boys heading to Amsterdam. They're not heading to Amsterdam because we're at home in this match. Is there anyone we recognise in the Ajax team? Do we get to see the Ajax team? I don't know why it's not showing me the Ajax team. Right, Ajax team. I mean, there's nothing very, very exciting there. Hato, I know, is a good young player in FM24. I've signed him in a couple of saves. But I'm quite... Can I say this? I'm quietly confident. I say that in a YouTube video where there's thousands of you watching. Well, don't tell anyone, but I think we might win this game. Ribeiro has picked up a stubbed finger. How significant is a stubbed finger to a goalkeeper? And now Herrera has picked up a knock as well. Yeah, Herrera's done. Herrera's pulled his thigh. This is his first game since agreeing his permanent move. He's obviously still officially here on loan. Doesn't join us permanently until the summer, but just becoming a permanent Dortmund player means he's got the curse of the Dortmund attacker. They're all so injury prone. It's ridiculous how many injuries we've got. I think if we were to track the statistics of front four combinations we've used, I don't know how many matches I've managed now, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if we had a unique combination of 4 attacking players in every match I've played as manager. Because there's just always injuries. It's constant injuries to those players. I now understand why we had quite so many. I was confused when I arrived about why we had so many wingers. Now I know, because they're all made of glass. It's still 0-0 as we approach half-time as well. This isn't the dominant performance we had against Bayer Leverkusen in the quarter-final first leg. And I'm a little bit alarmed by it. I would quite like to take the lead before half-time. If we have to go to Ajax without a comfortable lead to defend, that Champions League final starts to look trickier. But we've picked up this entire Champions League run has been a tale of deflected shots. And there's another one of them. Moreira, who has been brilliant ever since I arrived when he's been fit. Moreira gets in behind his defender, beats him for pace, cuts inside, and then it's a very tame shot, but takes a huge deflection off the Ajax defender, which basically puts it back to exactly where the goalkeeper was standing before he dived. We don't care how it happens. We love the deflections, but we are 1-0 up just before half-time, which is exactly, if you recall, what I requested. And now we're going to try and double our lead with another one of our long throws. Borches throws it long, flick on from Moorman. I spoke about how much of an aerial threat Moorman was, even without Big Kev in the team. We are a problem from set pieces because of Moorman, and that is 2-0, and that might flatter us a little bit going into half-time, but we have mastered the long throw, the corner. We are the set piece kings, and it's all thanks to this guy. We've put together a team of absolute giants, and it's now starting to pay dividends. 2-0 up at half-time. It's a long road back from here for Ajax. If we can do in the second half what we did to Leverkusen in the second half and just put the entire tie beyond doubt before the second leg, that's the dream. Finish teams off at home. Don't even let the away game factor into things. Just finish them off when they're at our place in front of all of our screaming fans, which I have started to have a tentative look at getting a ticket for a Dortmund game this season. It's quite tricky, isn't it? They do have a lot of fans and they do sell out. So if anyone's got any tips for how I can go about doing this, let me know. Fancy set piece alert, by the way. I don't know that this one is going to go down in our scrapbook of great set pieces. That one didn't lead to a shot on target or even the ball entering the penalty area, although still part of the same move. We were trying to get another attack going. Carrier's got himself sent off here. That was a red card if ever I've played a game of Football Manager. And that's problematic, because I think that might be his second red card in the Champions League this season, which means if we... Oh, it's not. I thought he'd been sent off in a previous round. Maybe he hadn't. I must be thinking of somebody else. But depending on how long that ban would be, that definitely rules him out of the second leg, could potentially rule him out of a final as well. And we've now got to get through the rest of this first leg with just 10 men on the pitch, which does make it a little bit harder to dominate the match. But our right back has just done that to make it 3-0. We only need 10 men. There is no... It's not acceptable that a right back's capable of doing that. We've got a new right back coming in the summer. This is unfair. Some of these young players that we've got need to learn to behave themselves in polite company. And that is not the done thing for a right back at any level of football anywhere in the world. He needs to learn that that's just rude what he's done there, but we'll take it. We're 3-0 up. And I mean, can we add a fourth with 10 men? That might be asking a lot. Hasanbegovic collects the ball back to goal, plays it back to Dukic. He sells Borches a little short there, and Ajax have got an opportunity, but Borches showing that not only is he a fantastic goal scorer, his first ever goal, but he's just done some brilliant defending as well. He's actually a proper right back as well, which is jolly nice to see. What we don't want to do here is let Ajax back into this tie. We need to be ruthless. That's poor from Schlotterbeck, our longest serving player, our captain. And that's very poor. And that does let Ajax back into the tie. And that does make things a little trickier looking ahead at the rest of this match and going into a second leg as well. He's not even tried to do the header. And Noah Okafor is a name from non-league to legends past as well. Before any of you had heard of him, he was one of our superstar youngsters in a previous save. And that's unfortunate what's happened there. Right, we're going to bring on Big Kev. When in doubt, bring on Big Kev. We're also going to take off Schlotterbeck. We're going to bring on Garcia. Garcia, I think, is another big boy. He is another 6'6" big boy, 19 jumping reach, similar to Big Kev. Really, they're both massive with huge jumping reach, but not great at heading. That's why they're not quite as effective as Moorman, who is the guy from our set pieces. But we've got a lot of jumping reach on the pitch right now. Hasanbegovic, Deda, Garcia, Moorman. These are all players with like 18 plus on their jumping reach. We shouldn't be giving away any set pieces for the rest of this match. We're going to bring on Mukoko on the left-hand side. We're also going to take off Dukic, bring on Nesid as well at the base of the midfield. And hopefully we're just going to see this match out. Obviously, we'd like to add a fourth goal, but it's more important that we don't concede a second. Looking ahead to that second leg, a 2-goal lead, we can definitely work with it. We obviously would have preferred 3. Good job away goals aren't a thing in Europe anymore. We'd be having serious words with Schlotterbeck. But that'll do. A win is a win. Now we just have to beat Augsburg in Bundesliga, which part of me is tempted to rotate a little bit against them because A, they're not very good, and B, we're not really in a title race. So we kind of need to keep as many people as possible fresh for Ajax. Am I going to rotate? Am I brave enough to rotate? Am I brave enough to sacrifice any chance of winning Bundesliga for a shot at a Champions League final? It depends if it's looking like it's Barcelona or Inter. Barcelona, the final doesn't matter. They're still going to beat us. Inter, I think we could win the whole thing. So let's see what goes on in that other semi-final, and then I'll decide what to do in the league game. So we rotated a little bit for the Augsburg game and still picked up a 4-0 win. Moorman is absurd. He is absurdly good. We also had another result go our way. It was Bayern drawing with Borussia Mönchengladbach, while Bayer Leverkusen drew with Wolfsburg, which means with 2 games of the season to go, we are 1 point off the top of the league. Massively better goal difference than Leverkusen. It's all to play for, isn't it? Regardless of what happens in this Ajax second leg, we're probably going to have to show you all 3 games for the rest of the season because we could win it all here. That would be bonkers. Right, this is the team for the second leg against Ajax. It's Ribeiro in goal. A back 4 of Van Veen, Schlotterbeck, Moorman and Borches. Dukic and Maui in midfield. Adeyemi, Gonzalez and Moreira behind Deda up front. Again, completely different front 4 because injuries, suspensions, etc. Gonzalez, recovering from injury, can only do 75 minutes, or he did play and score in the previous match. So he's definitely back enough to be useful for us. With the other semi-final, Barcelona beat Inter 2-1 in the first leg in Barcelona. So very finely poised in that semi-final, which is why I kind of half-heartedly did a half rotation, because either of them could make it through. In fact, has their match already played? Because I think we're on the Wednesday night. We should be able to... Can we... Wow, okay. Inter beat Barcelona. I haven't looked how good Inter are, but I feel like just based on current football reputations, I would always choose to play Inter over Barcelona, surely. But we've got to get there first. 3-1 up. We're quarter of a way into the match, halfway through this first half. Still 0-0, 3-1 to us on aggregate. If we could nick the first goal, I would be starting to feel pretty good about a Champions League final being in my future. It's Ajax, though, with this highlight, with the throw from that far side. Cross comes in, and it's not really dealt with. And I think we've got away with one a little bit there. I think Ribeiro and Schlotterbeck, between the two of them, neither of them really sure who was supposed to deal with it. It ended up going behind for a goal kick. So clearly it should have been dealt with by one of them because it wasn't a save or anything. This is the long throw again. I got distracted halfway through what I was saying because these long throws, Borches can chuck it into the 6-yard box and Moorman's just a machine when it comes to winning the ball in the air. These long throws, they've been incredible. I know long throws are... It's kind of a thing that was it an FM22 thing? Long throws were absurd. I have had long throws switched on throughout FM24, both in Non-League to Legend, in the beta saves, over on Twitch. It shows that you actually need the right personnel to get it to work. So we've got the right personnel here, and all of a sudden it feels like I'm cheating again. But I'm not. Ajax have scored here, I think, which is a problem. 1-0 to them on the night. 3-2 to us on aggregate. This is not ideal. This is uncomfortable territory. I mean, once again, Dennis Simon's agent has come back to me and said, please, do you want to reopen negotiations? I'd like to, but I'd like him to not ask for £1 million a week. I'm not going to reopen negotiations just for him to once again say, yeah, £1 million a week, please. I'm not giving him £500,000 a week. Our highest paid player's on like £250,000 a week. He can have that. And like it, he's not even Germany's first choice goalkeeper. So he needs a reality check. They clearly want rid of him in Saudi Arabia, which is why he's been set as an emergency backup, despite them not having a first choice. But he's only earning 600 there. He's taking a pay cut. They want rid of him. He can have half the money to come and play for us. Right, Adeyemi cuts it back to Dukic. Back to Adeyemi again, Maui, and now Dukic again. Back to Borches. If he can do another wonder goal, that'd be handy. Moreira now has come over to this right-hand side, and he's trying to win us a corner, but has ended up playing it across to Maui. And now it's a nice period of possession for us here, but we need a chance. That's a beauty of a cross from Borches, but Adeyemi can't keep his header down. It remains 1-0. That was a lovely cross. I never know in this situation what the right shout to do is, because we're losing, but the players will react as if we're winning. So I can't encourage, even though in the circumstances of the match, I want to encourage them, because they'll be like, what do you mean encourage? We're already winning. But at the same time, I don't want to like tell them to, I don't know, calm down. I don't want him to calm down. I want him to win the football match. Right, we're going to bring on Makoko. In fact, I think we're going to bring on him. We're going to shuffle around a little bit. I think we're going to do that. And we'll get Hartman on as well. Hartman, although we spent a lot of money on Van Veen, Hartman I really like. He's 30, so he's not a long-term solution, but I am very much enjoying his set-piece delivery, and I think we're going to see a little bit of it again here. He's got a lovely cross on him. He's decided to have the shot this time, which seems baffling when Moorman is there at that far post. Just get it up in the air for him to head. Don't be shooting. We've got a guaranteed goal if you can get it on that guy's head in the penalty area. That is cynical. That's got to be a red card, referee. Absolutely cynical. That is a red card. Ajax now down to 10 men, just like we were in the first leg. Moreira rolling around like he's been shot. We didn't even get to see the free kick off the back of it, but that, I think, will hopefully give us enough to drag us over the finish line. We're going to bring Ozil on in there. We're also going to take off Dukic, bring on Martel in midfield. Just see the game out, boys. I am feeling nervy. I'm not enjoying this at all at the moment. Schlotterbeck just heads it up in the air. He's got to be better. He's in his 30s, and I think the weak link in our defence. We've got another defender already coming in, and we've got Garcia on the bench. I think Schlotterbeck might be moving on this summer. We start shipping out some old men. Smith Rowe and Schlotterbeck, I think, are on their way out. Possibly Adeyemi as well if we get a big enough offer for him. Although I am enjoying Adeyemi, and that I didn't enjoy because that's 3-3. 10 men Ajax. If this is given, are now on level terms, it's been disallowed. Oh, right. What do I do? Focus? That could be a disaster. I don't think I've ever clicked focus before, but I feel like I've got to shout something. What impact did focus have? Yeah, they didn't like that, did they? Corner. Just get it on Moorman. Corner. Far post. Moorman is there. It's bobbling around in the air. It's a great save from the goalkeeper. We just got to do more of that. We've got so many big boys. Just get it to the big boys. That's always the answer. Big boys, big boys. Come on. I think we're going to get to the Champions League final. Just hold on, boys. Just hold on. Come on. There we go. We're in the Champions League final. That is bonkers. We are heading to the Stade de France. It's going to be Borussia Dortmund versus Inter. Inter are second in Serie A. I mean, Champions League. Neither of us are top of our own leagues. But it's us versus Inter. We're both in with a chance of winning our domestic leagues as well, although we're not top currently. That's our first defeat in a long while. Hopefully it doesn't affect us too badly. I've got to show you all three matches. We could still win Bundesliga. Oh, I'm getting stressed. If you enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.